Today I'm gonna do a video on making tallow. Tallow is basically refined fat. Fat is what you get from any meat that you cook. Tallow can be used for many things. You can melt it and add beeswax to it. If you want to waterproof leather, say your moccasins. It can be reused for cooking. It can be used for waterproofing your gun and lubricating your gun lock. There are better lubricants for your gun, but in the wilderness you don't have those options. So you use what you can. If you're cooking meat in front of the fire, then the fat that drips can be collected into your kettle or a cup, and then you can refine that and turn it into tallow. If you're doing this at home and you're doing it in a baking dish, refining the fat into tallow is even more important, because you will have pieces of meat in the actual fat. That meat has to come out, and you want to get any salt out of it that you can as well, because the salt will damage your gun and it will damage the leather. Fat will keep for a long time, or tallow will keep for a long time. Once the fat is refined into tallow, the tallow will keep for a long time. I've had this in this jar here for, I don't know, maybe 15 years, I guess. Used to do a lot of hunting, so ended up with a fair bit of fat and tallow. I don't know if you can see that this has a grease-proof paper on top, which has now started to come apart after all these years, and it is tied around here with some cordage. But this is the top is just to keep the dust and dirt out of it. Like I say, it will keep for a long time. This still smells fine after 15 years or so. I suggest you use a pottery jar like this, or glass. You can use metal, but if there is any traces of salt or moisture left in the tallow afterwards, it will rust the metal in the tin, and you'll get that in the tallow. It's not of any importance really if you're going to be just using it for your moccasins and other leather work, but it's just a point to bear in mind. So I'll show you how I do it, and we'll do that now. Okay, we've got the water boiling on the stove. It's pretty hot. It is actually boiling, as you can see. Now this is turkey fat. As you can see, it's a little bit contaminated with other foodstuffs, and if you look on this side, you will see the traces of meat that are still left on the tallow or on the fat. Okay, this has actually been already boiled down, but it is still fat at the moment, and it has salt in it, it has meat on it, and we need to get that cleaned up. So we're going to put that into the kettle. We'll put the top on so we can get it boiling again. And when it's melted, we'll come back and take another look at it. Now here you can see the fat has started to melt. I don't know if you can see the difference in the depth here, but there's a lot of molten fat floating on the surface of the water. And probably what we're seeing in there now moving around is the waste, is the meat. The fat is actually melted. We'll let it boil a little bit longer just to make sure it's all out of it, and then we'll set it aside to cool down and set, which will leave the fat on the surface of the water. Okay, the pot's off the fire now, and we've taken the lid off so it'll cool down a little bit quicker. Of course, being cast iron, it will stay hot for quite a while, but as soon as that's cooled down, we'll continue with the process.